Let's take a look at how we can automate Java testing with GitHub Actions. So here I just created a basic Gradle project in IntelliJ. My only dependencies are just the basic stuff for JUnit 5. So we also need to just define a basic class with some functions that we can test. Here I'm just defining a calculator class with an add and subtract method. And then in our testing class, we just need to add some tests. If we run these here on our IDE, we can see that they're passing at this point. Next up, we need to create our GitHub action workflow. So here we just need a .github directory with a workflows folder, and then this YAML file tells GitHub Actions what it needs to do for this workflow. First, we need to give the workflow a name, then we need to tell it when it needs to run. So we want this workflow to run anytime we push code to the main branch, initiate a pull request, and this workflow dispatch here allows us to manually run the action. Next, we need to tell GitHub Actions what we actually want the workflow to do. So here under jobs, we're defining where the test is going to run and the steps for the test here. So first we need to check out the code. This just clones the GitHub repository. Next, we need to set up our JDK. So I prefer to use Amazon Corretto, but you can use any Java distribution you would like. Next up, we need to first validate the Gradle wrapper, make sure everything's intact, and then execute our Gradle tests. This last step is where all the magic happens. This Dorny test reporter takes the test results saved by the Gradle test command, and it parses them and generates a report that can be viewed under the Actions tab on GitHub. This means that if a single test fails, the GitHub action will show as failed. If you're on Windows, you may encounter an error running this action. The common error is lack of permission for GitHub Actions to run the Gradle commands. To fix that, you have to update the file permissions within Git. The following command will fix that. Once we have all this set up, we can commit all of our code, and we can go ahead and push that up to our remote repository. Now if we head over to GitHub, let's give this a quick refresh here. We can now see that our GitHub Actions are running. If we head over to our Actions tab, we can see it running right here. At this point, the pipeline has finished running, and we can see the report generated by the test reporter here. This gives us details on runtime, the amount of tests run, and we can see the name of every individual test. Thanks for watching. Comment down below if you have any questions. As always, a link to the GitHub repository is included in the description.